and good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Apologies for being a few minutes late. We're just having a chat. A few technical difficulties, but we're here. We are here live, and we can't wait to talk to you all. Now, as you can see, we have a massive panel this evening. So who knows what we're going to talk about, what kind of chaos is going to go on, but we cannot wait to see where we end up. Now, of course, let's go around, see how everyone is doing. So, Emily, how are you? First on my screen next to us.
Good. There was a bit of chaos at work today when the group chat was going ding 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 ding, and I was just like, "Whoa, what's happening?" But I'm good. It's been a good day.
And then you saw the chat and went, "This isn't interesting. What is everyone?"
This is usual rubbish.
We apologise for distracting you at work. We do apologise. And Sophie, good to see you again. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Thank you. Have you got your stats ready for Stats Corner? I know Tracy wants you to have them.
I haven't found the ones that Tracy's asking for. I have a few other ones, maybe.
Maybe. Hey,
maybe.
Watch this space. We might have some stats at some point. Nick, how are you doing? Tell us about the shirt that you're wearing because it's really cool.
Yeah, I got the Gay Villa shirt. That's what
hey, that time we had one of them.
Rainbow laces and all that things.
Have you got the were they doing the rainbow numbers in the store?
They were, but I didn't get numbers printed because money. It's
money. What's that?
And I love everyone so much I couldn't pick a player. That is also true.
That's quite nice of you. Hope we get rid of that later. I don't want any of that.
I might get RDP on the back because
best mates. What number would you have? 1.
666.
Number 1. Shocking. Shocking.
Ooh, and it's starting. I love it. Becky, how are you?
Yeah, good. Snow offy day at work today, so got to catch up on everything amongst the beeping of my phone, much like Emily. Like, what on earth is going on? So good day.
It's how we show love in these modern times. Just keep messaging. Yeah, because the snow appeared from nowhere. Fantastic. My dog was very confused when it first came down. But then as soon as he realized it wasn't going to hurt him, he was out like a little gazelle, like a bunny, just hopping through and eating it as well, which always went down well.
Like a whippet running around the garden.
He was. He's only got little legs though, so like.
Oh, maybe not then.
Little bunny whippet. I don't know. We'll think of the name. We'll think of the name.
Yeah.
Emma, what about you? How are you doing?
I'm going to use my new favourite quote. Life is smashing me. Describe my life.
And welcome to the Football Podcast.
Double thumbs.
We're all with you. We're all with you, Emma. Don't you?
Okay, she's happy about it.
She is. Hey, she's still smiling. That's what we do.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Hey, 4 minutes in. How's everyone?
Taking a drink.
In fact, shot. We'll make it happy, Emma. Don't worry. And finally, Tracy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. So are you, Freya?
I'm good. Lovely.
It was lovely to see you at the weekend as well. I haven't seen you for a while.
I know, yeah. Finally made it. Probably last one for a while. So yeah, so it was really nice to see everyone. It really, really was. Annoyingly, I'm just one day too early for the weekend because I'm around about Tottenham on Thursday. But then, of course, we've got the game on Saturday, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all that, don't you worry. Now, the first thing I wanted to say congratulations to was, of course, Laura Blinkilder-Brown on her first senior call-up for the Lionesses. We are still absolutely gutted that City took her off us, but she'll always be a villain to us, won't she? So congratulations to Laura for that one. Very, very well deserved. And Chastity has been called for the Netherlands as well. That was announced earlier today. I don't think anyone else has announced anyone yet, have they? I know France is Thursday.
Switzerland had Noel.
Oh, Switzerland got Noel. Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Noel.
I was going to say that answers a question about whether she's injured or not.
It does. It does indeed. And yeah, so I mean, well, we'll get into it, shall we? Let's talk. Let's talk about the match. So we are here, of course. All of us are here because we won. We finally got points. We got 3 points on the board. First win of the season, and it was November. Tracy, I think this is one of your stats. November last season, we won our first match as well. So clearly, November is the magic month.
Ebony Salmon with the winner both times as well, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
Hey, see, the stats are coming and we don't even have to think about them. So a bit of salmon magic. For salmon magic. Wow. What's in this? But it was magical, wasn't it? So last time out, so we haven't faced Crystal Palace before in the league, but we have seen them, of course, in the League Cup. Now, we had about 1 million shots that night, didn't we? And we finally managed a 2-0 win in the last 10 minutes of the game. So a win was possible, but it certainly wasn't going to be easy. Emma, what did you think going into this game? Did you think this was a must-win? Could it have been done? What were your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was a must-win, but again, like, getting points wasn't impossible because if we didn't win, we'd have got a draw. That was the optimism anyway. But like, of how well Crystal Palace have been playing, I was to how they were going to come out, how they were going to set. And well, with our lineup look at the minute, I wasn't sure how we were going to set up. So yeah, it was just a look at the draw, but it was definitely get points, please situation.
Yeah, please. Whoever we're praying to, the football gods, please look. And it's almost as if you've seen my note, Emma, because my first question was going to be formation. Now, we did a podcast predicts, didn't we, of who we wanted to see. Wasn't too far off, but still no Kenza, no Dree. However, Rach looked more like striker self, didn't she? So, Emily, I'll come to you for this one. What did you think of that lineup? Did it work well? And we'll talk about subs in a minute because they were a bit strange. But yeah, that initial lineup.
I was pleased that it was basically the same as the lineup against United, aside from Lucy Parker being injured, which is a shame. And hopefully she won't be out for too long because I think her and Patsy were building a really good partnership. Dan Turner's obviously really perfectly capable and stepped up big time coming into that centre-back role. But aside from that, it was the same lineup, which I liked because the way we started the game against United, if we can start all games like that, then that should set us up fine. So that's what I was hoping for.
And did they deliver in that first half, do you think, that lineup?
I think so. I mean, we had, I think it'd barely been a minute and Rach came flying in with that shot from the edge of the box. So it sets you up well. I think, obviously, United were a little bit surprised by how we came out. So that let us, the press was more obvious there compared to Crystal Palace, who maybe were sat further back anyway. But yeah, we started really well. We had probably 5 or 6 shots in the first 10 minutes, or chances rather.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, just watching it, you're like, okay, one's going to go in. No, it's going to go in now. Right. Okay. We'll wait a bit further. And Nick, I'm going to come to you for this next one. Actual set piece takers. Kirsty was actually taking them. Talk to us. We are happier. Can you see some progress?
Yes. I was thrilled with the fact that free kicks had Staniforth and Mailing Stander over it, and it was like, which one's going to take it? Wasn't thrilled that we still got Kirsty Hansen taking corners when we should have Darley on opposite across from Staniforth. We're getting there with set pieces, just not quite.
Because we had 10 corners during that match with the stat for 10. Were you, I don't know, we're starting to mix it up again as well. So do you think that's something they're actively working on? Can we tell?
I don't know. I can't possibly guess what his decision making is. I don't know if he's said, "Oh, actually, do you know what? Yeah, we've got no set piece takers on. That's why we're going to play Stan and Mailing," or whether it's just like he's just happened to have put them on because circumstances have pushed him to put them on. I couldn't tell you whether that was a deliberate decision or not, but it's one that I'm relatively pleased that's happening. I would just like to see more.
I did.
More progression.
Relatively pleased. Hey, that's quite good.
I did like
get a banner with it behind me. Yeah, Emily, go on.
We mixed it up. I think it was the first corner, or maybe the first corner we took. They did like a little short corner routine, which actually paid off. And Jordan had a shot from the edge of the box that got tipped over, it was good to see them rather than just aimlessly trying to whack it into space and either the defender or the keeper gets it. We actually tried mixing up and it paid off.
No, absolutely. And again, one of our criticisms has been the fact that we've become a bit predictable and a bit stale and a bit nothing was really happening. Now, how do I put this nicely? We've talked before about people kind of earning their place in the starting 11. Gabby. Well, just have a chat about Gabby. We know her potential. We know her potential. Becky, I'll come to you for this one. Has her performance at the moment, has she earned her place in that starting lineup, or do you think she'd be much better as an impact sub, gaining that experience and then moving to a starter? What do you think?
I feel like you've answered it for me there. I think I've been very vocal on the fact that she's become a starter a little bit too early. I think we touched on it last week. You know, the Spanish league, with the greatest respect, isn't on par with the WSL, and I don't think she's earned a stripes yet. For me, the bigger argument is what it does to Rachel Daly's position.
Yes,
I know that's potentially a separate conversation, but yeah.
She looks a lot more comfortable.
Yeah,
she looks a lot more comfortable than she did. When she first started playing. I mean, the first game, I remember she kind of like was just. I remember watching her, and she was kind of like just standing around, not like she was looking around, like not knowing what she was supposed to be doing. It must be really difficult. She doesn't speak English, does she?
Not
a little bit. She's got kind of Paola with her.
Yeah. I think the relationship between her and the girls is developing well. I saw her giving Jordan a piggyback on Sunday, which was great, like in the dugout. And she definitely looks a lot more comfortable. She costs a lot of money though, didn't she? And I suppose that's the reasoning for putting her on the pitch, to show that the money's being spent well.
True.
But the money gets spent well when she starts putting in performances.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think the performance has matched that transfer amount, or the fact that it's pushing Rach back.
But then you could also argue the fact that the only way that she's going to get used to playing in the WSL is to put her on from the start, and to kind of speed up that development of her getting used to the WSL. Do you know what I mean? And
I know what you mean, but I disagree. With the greatest respect, Tracy, I do disagree, because when you bring youngsters through, you don't put them straight on from the start. You build them up with minutes. Same as match fitness, you build people up with minutes. You don't just whack them on from the start. But that's my opinion. I'm happy for everybody to disagree with me.
Yeah, I'm pro Gabby.
Oh, I'm pro Gabby. Don't get me wrong.
I think
she scored 2 already.
I think he needs to make decisions tactically with who we're playing against, because Gabby and Rachel are 2 very different strikers. Rachel is a playmaker. She can run with the ball. She can turn with the ball. Gabby's very much get herself in a good position and strike.
On the right
time,
yeah.
It should depend entirely on who we're playing as to which one starts, personally.
I think one of the things with having both Rach and Gabby is essentially both of them are big money players that have been brought in. So you've got 2 big, like, marquee players that you're trying to... They're both in the same position. And then you've got to balance them both within the team and keep them both happy, because Rach got brought in. I know we didn't technically spend a lot for her, but they did pay a lot of money and had to, like, I think it was a goal scoring bonus they had to write into a contract to get it over the line. Famously.
Yeah.
So if you've got two players you're spending a lot of money on, then that's possibly pressure not on Robert, but from like the board to be like, well, we're spending all this money on both these players. They both need to be playing.
Yeah. And where's the return on that investment as well? As the secondary one. Yeah, absolutely. Because what I was going to say as well, it's, again, nothing against her, but it's what is she adding to that starting lineup at the moment? Because again, she could have had a perfect tap in. If we talk about that Rachel Daly incident, of course, her and Yanez, who had a fantastic game, by the way, just shout out annoyingly to the opposition keeper. When those two clattered a Rach went down, it was an open goal, wasn't it? And it just kind of felt like, oh, not again. But again, that'll come from confidence, getting her feet right, and just realizing that actually she had a lot more time than she did. So yeah, Tracy, do you just think that's going to come the more she plays?
I do. I think so. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from, Becky, and everybody else that thinks that maybe she should be starting later. But I just do think that, there's the other side of the argument, isn't there? That, you know, she needs to be on the pitch and she needs to be competing against real teams, not just training. Getting training time. She needs to be competing with real teams in the WSL to be able to adapt and adjust to that style of play.
I mean, that's what we always say about United, isn't it? When he says players need 9 months on the bench to get used to the league, and you're like, play them, and then they leave. Like,
I do think she's definitely. I think her link-up play with the players, with the play down the wing, was definitely better. Yesterday, yes, what day are we on? Sunday. Like with Paola and Kirsty, there was quite a lot of nice play down the wing. So I think that's improving. And I think Gary said in the chat as well that the game last week probably will have given her quite a lot of confidence.
Yeah, because when we were really strong in that press and really high in that press, she did really, really well, didn't she? So yeah, again, it's going to be learning for Robert as well to kind of say, right, I've seen her play in these games, but I need to see for myself where she's going to kind of come in and where what's going to be the best for her. Absolutely. So we'll watch this space. Now, Katie Stengel, annoyingly, was a goal threat, wasn't she? Every time she got on the ball for Palace, and Annabelle Blanchard as well. Luckily, Katie Stengel's first run on goal was offside. Thank you very much, Mr. Lionel. However, it did feel like Palace, especially in that first half, were really exploiting the fact it seemed like we only had two at the back, because Malin and Tomas were right the way up, weren't they? So, Sophie, what do you think? Should the gaps have been that big? We know what they were trying to do with that high press, but yeah, what could you see, especially in that first half? What
I think
could make it better?
Crystal Palace is not a team to leave two at the back for, because their whole setup is low block. And then they've got these super fast forwards that can just get the ball and bomb it down and exploit the fact that you've left all that space behind. That's their whole style of play. And they've got Kate Stengel, who has come back to the UK from being in the US for a little bit, and they play that very transitional, very athletic, very fast football. She's very good at that. I think that's their whole way they're going to do well this season, is to exploit when teams leave spaces in defense so they can just pew through.
Pew. Yeah. It's hey, it should be award winning with all these sound effects, shouldn't we? Doing it all ourselves. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's the fact that they went, right, okay, we're probably not going to be in possession much, so where can we hurt them, where can we attack, and it's going to be on that counter. And every counter, it was a bit like, oh no, are they actually going to do it? Because we know as much as we love Dan Turner as much as we love Anna Patten, and they can be quick, they can, but can sustain in that for 90 minutes. Plus, we ended up playing over 100 maybe. Yeah, it was just a lot, wasn't it? It was way too much.
That's also where we missed Lucy Parker as well.
Yes, having that extra physical body at the back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because they were incredibly quick. Honestly, Annabelle Blanchard, just no. too good. Now, so in this first half, as we've kind of mentioned, we've all seemed to struggle against like lower mid-table sides, because we were talking about maybe there's more pressure to actually win them, whereas against Chelsea, United, etc., there's no one really expects us to win in there and win it. Tracy, would you say that's fair? Because I know we were having a little talk about it, weren't we? Do you think that could be part of it, like that mentality going in?
I don't know, because I mean, we put in a massive and a brilliant performance against Chelsea, didn't we? So it wasn't like we just rolled over. And also the same against Man United, we didn't roll over. You know what? I actually, okay, I'm going to say it. I actually really agree with Robert in that we just need to be more clinical in and more accurate in our play. So you were talking a moment ago about the
Gabby.
the lack of defense. Okay, and us pressing a little bit further up. Look how many shots on goal we had within that first 20 minutes. Yeah, because of that high press. If they had been more clinical and were able to actually get the ball in the net, yeah, then that would have worked. That tactic would have worked. Do you know what I mean? I just think that, yeah, we just need to be a little bit more accurate in our shooting. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Yeah. So I don't think it's a case that, you know, we don't expect to win against. I think, you know, we've got a side full of international players, top quality players. We're more than capable of beating Chelsea. We proved it. We're more than capable of beating Man United. We proved it. You've got Chelsea fans saying that they don't understand why we are where we are in the league, because of the way that we're playing. I just think there's just missing link, and we just need to be more clinical.
Yeah, we do, absolutely. And it's strange because, like you said, I thought you were going to give us some more stats there, Tracy. We had 22 shots. Okay, 22. 12 of them being on target. Now, Palace only managed 12 shots in the whole game, with 5 of theirs on target. So possession, shots, everything. We were the better team on the night. However, as we've said, we just couldn't do it. I did ask Robert in a post match, what if there's anything obvious to really address that lack of clinicality, and that's when he said, well, we've brought in Sean Gorter, and that's, you know, where all the forwards are working with him to try and get that across. But yeah, there was nothing really too specific he did mention apart from working with Sean. So
for our viewers, Freya, sorry to interrupt, for our viewers that maybe don't know how you had the opportunity to speak to Robert, would you like to explain? You know, you didn't go out for a drink with him after the match, did you, or something like that? No?
Oh, did I?
I mean, I know, but you know, there might be people that are watching that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've got the opportunity with WSL full time to start working press at matches, which is very, very cool. So I get to experience that side and all the pre and post match with the managers as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Well done, Freya.
Thank you. It was really, really nice because I made some friends. Just digressing slightly, there was 2 girls there from the University of Birmingham and from the newspaper there, and I was like, oh, I went to University of Birmingham. Oh, I graduated 10 years ago. Oh, okay. So suddenly felt ancient, and yeah, so I was sitting with them, and then I suddenly saw Freya. I looked over and everyone was like, hello. So it was very cute. Thank you for the support, everyone. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, it's a fantastic afternoon, and I have to say, Villa Park's press lounge is incredible. So can't wait to go back for that. But yeah, no, he was really positive about everything. Just needs time to come together, and I know a lot of people have said, we need more points. We should have had more wins, and yeah, we should have for the performances, but it's not like we're playing terribly, is it? It's just getting those final bits together, and hopefully it'll all click into place very, very soon.
I do think that side of it is improving week by week. Maybe not the final clinical aspects, but it feels like we're getting more out and out chances on goal in these more recent games than we were at the start of the season. And like we said earlier, Jana's had a really good game. She made 9 saves. Like 2 of them were tipped over the bar. So on a different day, they could have gone in.
Yeah, she had to be constantly on her toes, didn't she, to try and keep them out. And like you said, 9 saves is massive. And she's actually, another stat, sorry, Sophie, if these are taken away from yours, by the way, she's had the most saves in the WSL this season already. So she is a really, really good goalkeeper, annoyingly. So yeah.
I remembered
to do your stat, and then I've got
Okay, I remembered one of them.
Go on then.
I might be able to think of the other one a little bit later. So, because I was doing a little bit of research last night, wasn't I, while we were chatting? And so last season, at this point, we had scored 13 goals. Do you know what? I really wish that I had this accurately, but I'm sure it was we'd scored 13 goals, and no, do you know what? I don't think I've got that right. Forget it. Ignore me. I need to. I've got it on my phone. I'll have a look later.
Have that opened up, Tracy. You put we scored 10 by this time last season.
There you go.
We scored 12 now.
Yeah.
So that's 2 more goals.
There you go. Fantastic. Yeah.
I went and found it for you.
Have you got the conceded stats there?
No, I didn't. I haven't got those.
Okay.
One.
Because we conceded way more last season at this stage. I think it was about 20 to the 13 that we've conceded so far. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah, so if you can just sort that for about 10 minutes time, then that'd be great.
Nick might have the
Wait,
Nick, what?
you can't compare this time in the season to this time last
Why
season.
not?
Why not?
Within
Why
our
not, Nicola?
match, Kirsty Hansen went out on a red card, so we had 3 matches without Kirsty Hansen. We had no Kenza Darley this time last year because she had a knee injury. We had 6 people on the bench, 2 of which were academy players. It's a completely different situation to this time last year.
Oh, do you remember that when we were just looking at the bench like
We're doing better than we did last year, but we had half a squad. We couldn't even put 9 people on the bench.
To be fair, we lost Paula Tomas to a red card this season as well.
No, but she's no Kirsty Hansen, is she? Let's be serious here.
there we go. Right.
Like, let's not pretend they're like Thomas is good, but Kirsty Hansen is like.
One thing, and my point I was going to make is Kirsty Hansen looks like one of the things she's been working on in the past 2 seasons is actually scoring goals rather than just crossing them into the box. She looks like she's trying to take more shots, and I think it's still probably the area of her game that still needs the clinical side of her shot taking is something that she's working on. Agreed.
She's definitely, the old Kirsty is definitely back though. Do you remember when she came back after the red card last season and she'd lost it, hadn't she? It was like she was scared to do anything because she didn't want to get sent off again. She was amazing on Sunday. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, she was. I was going to talk about player of the match later on, but she was definitely one of my candidates for player of the match.
I put my notes from when I was watching earlier that I really like the link up that's building between her, Tomas, and Nunes. There was a lot of really good, like from back to front with those three.
Yeah, it's looking more incredibly positive. Tracy, I don't know if you've gone on purpose, or if you just
to check the stats already.
Yeah, I have. I'm just putting my phone on charge. Bear with.
Okay, no worries. Just wanted to check you were still there. So in that first half, then let's have a look. Now we completely dominated, didn't we? And then it got to the 30-minute mark, completely against a run of play. Mike Harto took the lead. Now, I will say this: the commentator, Emma. Sorry, I might be raining on your parade here. He changed the way he said Mike Harto about 5 different times, and at one point it sounded like he was trying to say like "Mikasa Sukasa." It was very bizarre. So it went from Mike Harto to Mikato to I don't even know. So it's meant to be Mike Harto. Apparently, Mike Harto. I did a bit of research. But she managed to just completely go through the middle. Again, there was no one defending, was there? I don't know who wants to jump in, but what was that initial feeling when Palace did take the lead? Because it was completely against.
I was just going to say, Freya, took a screenshot just before that ball came in, and like I don't know how is there nobody? How is there nobody? She's at the top of the box.
There's no one picking her up.
What is going on there?
No,
someone should have been picking her up.
Yeah.
It's like we felt they weren't a threat until we realised they were a threat. Like, actually, we should probably mark these people.
The reason they can they can actually play. But no, you're absolutely right, and it was the same for the second goal as well. Completely unmarked. Just completely let it through. So what was that initial feeling like?
I genuinely thought we're surely not doing this again. That was my reaction. Like,
that was mine as well. Just like of all the teams in all the world, no. But then, of course, who equalises for us? The one and only Anna Patten.
Sorry, needed to be done.
I know she didn't have a cape on, but she did go on
a mask. She's been a superhero. I'm telling you, something happened to her.
Yeah, maybe it's like still like genetically in there. That's imprinted for life now.
I swear to God, she's like fighting crime at night time now. She is.
I was so pleased that she finally got rewarded for like all of those runs that she's made nearly every game.
Yeah.
There's always a period where you're like, oh, Patsy stayed up there. Oh, look, she's in the box again.
I think she was doing that towards the end of last season as well. There was a lot of like, Patsy, what are you doing up there? Why are you in the 18-yard box? Like,
but now it's like, Patsy, get in there. Go on, better up. Because we've all seen, if in doubt, 3 defenders up front and see what happens. And it works. It works with Patsy. So we get the equaliser, and honestly, the roar from everyone there when that equaliser went in, it was just everyone's like sigh of relief, wasn't it? It's like, if nothing else, just don't lose it. Like, we've got the equaliser, we're getting a point, just don't lose it.
I swear the commentator cursed us though.
Go on then, why?
The second half at 2-1, like 84th minute, he was like, this is going to be Villa's first win. Like, they're doing really like well. And I was like, the game's not over yet. You know not to say that they're going to win it before the final whistle's gone. And then like about 30 seconds after he said that, Palace equalised again. And I was like, dude.
We'll be having words with him. So that was in the 39th minute that she equalised, and honestly, those 9 minutes between those 2 goals were, I feel like, the longest ever. I kept having to rewrite my match report because things kept changing that quickly. I was like, oh right, okay, I'll change it again. Now let's have a look. Now, go on.
Just on the Patsy goal, we very nearly let them score immediately after when they kicked off.
Yes,
it was almost a carbon copy of that goal at Brighton, where it was like right from the kickoff, and you're just like, come on, switch on.
So do you think, I was going to ask this later, but I'll ask her now, Emily, is that still an issue where we can dominate for large periods of time and there's literally a moment of a couple of seconds where it switches and then concede? Is that still our issue that we need to work on?
I think so. I think maybe it does come back to what you were saying about big teams versus the lower down teams. So I think if that had been like Chelsea, we just equalised against, I don't think anyone, and nobody would have been taking their foot off the pedal for even a moment. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't. You'd be constantly thinking, right, we've got to be in this full gas all the time. Whereas maybe in that game they equalise, and then you think, right, we can do this, and then just there's that momentary lapse of, I don't know.
For me, this was, I think I said it in the chat, sorry Freya. For me, this is the perfect example of playing the opposition instead of playing our own game. We were, again, no disrespect to Crystal Palace, we were playing Palace, we thought we could take the foot off. Direct comparison to the previous match against Man United, we didn't take the foot off, we carried on. And I think this comes down to, again, playing the opposition rather than playing our own game and just knowing what we need to do and crack on with that.
I have a couple of points. One on comparing how we played against Palace to Man United. Surprisingly, we had much higher XG in the United game. We had 1.9 XG in that United game. And in this game, it was like 1.1 or something ridiculous. Like, we definitely did not. Yeah. We definitely took our foot off the gas for this game. But on the like lapse of concentration, that second goal was when just before the triple substitution, when the subs were all lining up on the sideline.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Part of me wonders as well. We can discuss who the subs were and whatever. But part of me is like, when you're on the pitch and you know substitution is getting ready to be made, you're like, then you're thinking, you're kind of like, is it that? You're like, oh, am I coming off? And then you start thinking about if you're going to be substituted. You become very aware that I don't know what it's like for like professional footballers. They're probably much better at compartmentalizing than like lower leagues. But there is still that bit of like, you're thinking, oh, am I the one being subbed? And then you sort of lose your focus a little bit.
I think if they would have looked over and seen who the substitutions were, they probably would have thought, what's going on over there? And then you can't. That would have been like, what? This makes
who's coming up?
Like, how is this going to work? So yeah, I completely agree with that. They probably were massively distracted by the world's longest substitution and just
it take forever.
The oddest choice.
I felt so sorry for them. Like, it was because at that point, and I know Emily, you said as well, like the whole point of the commentator. Yeah, so the commentator did mention the rain once watching the bet, and
pronouncing it down.
It was proper. It was stotting is a great word for the rain.
I wonder if they've dried off yet, the players.
Did anyone notice that Paula Thomas was somehow way more wet than everyone else? Like, her sleeves were dangling and everything. She looked like whereas everyone else was just mildly damp. It's just like, how did you absorb more rain if you're Spanish? Like,
it's because she runs with her arms out, so there's like more surface area.
More porous. Like, what?
That's how it works, right? That's how science works.
I love the run. It's very iconic.
It's very Phoebe, and I'm here for it. I love it.
I think it's just her sleeves.
Her arms are in the sleeves.
Yes.
It's like got her arms inside her top, like when you're little and you're cold.
Was it Katie Stengel though that had the short sleeves with glove combination?
I love that combo. I really do. Very Viv Miedemar, isn't it?
Yeah,
I always forget that they're good friends though, her and Viv Miedemar, because they play together.
The passion of that friend circle.
Bond over gloves.
Yeah, bonding over gloves. Yeah, absolutely. No, I love it. It's all these little things that you pick up when you're actually there in person that just watching it on the telly, you just don't get, do you?
I'm gutted that I couldn't be there because I didn't realise till like the day before that we didn't actually have a football game this weekend and we could have gone down. I was like, who are we playing tomorrow? Oh, we're not playing. Oh, could have gone across. Oh, wait. It's going to be too expensive now.
I mean, I'm going to have to question your dedication to the cause over here. I think I'm going to.
I am very broke right now.
Well, yeah. Next time we'll see it. We'll plan in advance next time. It'll be good. Now, next up. So 1-1, and it felt like, I don't know if anyone else would like to agree or disagree. I know we're very much in the disagree camp tonight, but I love it. Now, it finally felt like this was a Villa team that they weren't just going to sit back. They did actually look like, we need another goal. We're going to keep going. Because, again, that's been our criticism again, that they've gone, we're in the lead. Or let's hold a point and just sit back, and then we concede and lose it all. So did anyone else feel like that? They felt more like purpose in their attack? Or a different game?
There's definitely a lot more passion being shown on Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In both ends of the spectrum, I'd say, like passion with anger and passion with spirit. It was a very feelingy game, I'd say. There was a lot of feelings.
I saw no anger, Nick. I saw no anger.
I think Nick might disagree.
I'm only coming from you, Nick.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I'm sat right behind you, Nick. Did you know?
You're not right behind me. You're a bit.
Well, not right. To the right. Behind you, to the right. And I can see you. I can see what you're doing, who you're shouting at, and what you're saying.
Right. He passed me on the stairs, and I was good as
That is true.
good as gold.
You could have tripped him.
I did say afterwards, I just like, he was lucky that I didn't punch him in the back of the head.
Security.
No.
Need to report.
It's just, from where I'm sat, I can see facial expressions on the bench because I'm practically next to them, and there was definitely frustration. There was two very angry faces, one belonging to Rachel and one belonging to Dree.
Wow.
Okay. So
I think there's always, sorry, Freya, whenever it's all right, we're coming up to 42 minutes now, it's nearly half time. Whenever somebody gets subbed, there's always anger, there's always disappointment. Apparently Rachel and Robert were hugging on the way out.
Right, I just saw that TikTok.
Walking through the tunnel. So I don't think there's any animosity there, to be honest.
Okay, if we pause it there slightly. So for people that don't know, there was a video where it showed the final winning goal. I mean, we're going to talk about it in the second half, guys, but we'll do it. So when that final goal went in and the final whistle went pretty much at the same time, didn't it? There's a video of Rachel Daly, really passionate, celebrating, and then kind of going past Robert. Now, people have interpreted it in different ways, going, she's pushed him to be like, shouldn't have took me off. Other people have gone, it's like a yes celebration. And this is where the divide is going. So, yeah. So that was a little bit of background for people that didn't watch it. So which side are we falling on? So Tracy, you're falling on everything's fine. Everyone was just passionate and happy. And
it's passion. Just, it's, pushing kind of like, we've done it kind of thing. Yeah.
I've definitely had that similar sort of like shoving each other like in like excitement after games. Yeah. And also I've got a friend who does it to me when he gets really giddy and excited. Like he'll just like, that's his excitement. He'll just shove you. Like, and there's no malice in it. Like,
yeah,
it's like in a bush, like, oh god, where did that come from? So Nick, on the other hand, you're saying actually there might have been a bit more to it.
I feel like he is losing the support of some players, and I think Rachel is one of them. So I think it is that there was the potential that it wasn't the friendliest push in the world. Like, I know people said, like, oh, there's a TikTok of them, like, going down the tunnel, hugging afterwards. I saw the TikTok. It's literally about half a second. He puts his arm around her and she doesn't react. So there is no laughing, joking, and, like, everything's fine. I just, I don't know.
Or we could just be completely reading far too much into it. And it's actually a non-issue. So there we go.
I will say that from having been on a bench with managers and players, like, I spend most of my days on the bench because I'm, quite frankly, absolutely shite. And I'm aware of that. But I've heard players turn around and tell the coach to F off, and likewise the coach to tell the player to stop being
it's different environments, isn't it?
When you're in a game and things aren't going well, or things are going well, and you've got, it's not that unusual for the coaches and the players to, like, in the heat of the moment, be like.
I suppose because everyone's been under. There was so much pressure in that moment. In the last sort of 10 minutes of that game.
Absolutely.
Either way, when things came out, they were always going to be sort of dialed up.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, until we hear otherwise, I'm going with everything's fine.
I like to go with the common sense theme of, at the end of the day, that's her boss, and we'll know a little bit about how the reaction was intended for if she starts the next game. If she's on the bench for the next game, she meant it in anger. If she's playing, then he's all right. He's not too bad. I'll go with that. Let her crack on, sort of thing. So I'm going with the common sense of, she knows who pays the wages and starts her games, and is she silly enough to do that? Emotions aside, I completely agree. In the heat of the moment, emotions are there, but is she that silly to give up a starting lineup? I don't think.
I don't believe so.
No.
That's why I'm more swaying towards the fact that it was just a passionate, yay, kind of push, and you don't know what kind of relationship they have. Like, in training, they might do that kind of thing all the time. So we'll see.
If Ebony starts on Saturday instead of Rach, then there's your answer.
I actually think she might, because it's a cup game.
Right, so that's
and then we'll have that reaction on the podcast next time.
I actually think Ebony Salmon's, like, taking her chance. Like, he put her on and she scored the winner. Like, she took that opportunity.
Fair play to her.
Yeah, because he said that in his post match. He said, she's been training really hard. Let's get the exact quote. No, that's Laura Kaminsky. She came on. She's been very patient this season, not getting a lot of minutes, but training hard, doing her best for the team, keeping patience, which is sometimes frustrating from her side. And I think that last shot of hers was everything she had, and maybe all of the frustration she had too. She rewarded herself, but also rewarded the fans, the team, the staff, and the organisation. I'm very happy for her and for the team that she shot it in like that. So, what? Oh, Tracy, wait.
I could have fallen over, Tracy.
Tracy, what's going on? Oh, it's just frozen.
Tracy, stand up.
I'm sorry, I was listening.
There you go. I'm back.
Yay!
Right,
Did you literally see my whole phone screen then?
Yeah, but you was on your side.
Oh, right. Okay.
You were so
it's all right.
Comments.
I'm vertical again now. It's fine.
Oh, you try and do a serious quote piece of, let's talk about this. And just everyone's giggling in the background. And because I've got another screen up that I'm reading off, I haven't got a clue. Happens on a Wednesday as well. But never mind.
I'm Freya. Sorry.
Right. Everyone in detention, get off the screen. No, so he's proud of her.
There was one part of that quote towards the start. Read the start of it again.
No. You've had your chance to listen to me. Let's have a look.
It's gone now, sorry.
It's gone. He said that something. Fresh Legs came in, and Ebony Salmon, or Salmon, as he says, which is great. She's been very patient this season, not getting a lot of minutes, but training hard. Was that?
I don't know. Wasn't it? There was something about being part of the squad.
Read it again. Doing her best for the team,
That's
keeping patience. Yeah, so doing her best
I
for the
just
team.
thought that was
yeah.
Sort of if you compare that to something in his pre-match press conference where he said something, I can't remember if it was this week or last week, about I just read the quote, and it was about how him saying that people needed to manage their disappointment, wasn't the word he used, but
I know what you mean. It's like
let me find the thing. Carry on talking about something else. I'll find it.
Something to do with like managing their frustration as a team and not blaming people.
I just think that's quite a good sort of. I don't know. Felt a little bit pointed to me. But
one of the things I think maybe it was Nick was saying about people like not getting on with him. I think I mentioned it in the group chat of when Carla left, she still had the dressing room. She didn't. The team had it, as in everyone on that squad was there because they liked Carla, or a lot of them were. Yeah. Like a lot of them came for Carla.
Yeah.
And are really close with Carla, which is fine. Which means bringing in a new manager is always going to be harder than in a team where
absolutely
the team hits like is not getting on with the manager. Like, and there's always going to be players that a new manager maybe doesn't rate in the same way, or doesn't like in the same way, or doesn't get on with in the same way, because that's people, and you've got 20 and odd people to manage. Like,
for me as well, that ties into Rob's comment that he's popped on about crowd mentality will always take longer to change, and I think that echoes with the Carla situation. You know, fans didn't lose trust in Carla. She left on her own accord. She wasn't kicked out. And I think that can very much tie into the fans as well. It's going to take longer for the team to adjust to the new manager because there was no upset. Same with the fans, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when Carla left, it felt like a breakup. So, like,
and one that you didn't want to happen.
Boy.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's exactly it. It's like, or even like at school when like you found out you didn't have the same teacher again. And you're like, oh, I've got to learn someone else's rules. I've got to, what's going on here? But yeah, no, it was exactly that. It's like we broke up with Carla. Yeah. And it's adjusting to, okay, well, what's life like now? What does it look like? What do expectations look like?
And I think I've heard comments from Carla as well, where some of the players are still very much in contact with Carla and going to Carla for help and advice, which is great that she still has that relationship with players, but it is kind of like when you go back and like hook up with an ex, even though you know you shouldn't, like kind of situation, if we're staying on that analogy, and it just makes the process go so much slower.
It is good that they've obviously they're still going to have a relationship with her. I just think that, so for example, when we went to play Man City, Carla was there.
Yes.
She was in hospitality. How do we feel about that? That an ex-manager is coming to watch a game with a new manager, and then after the game, like some of the players were going over to speak to her and stuff.
I mean, Emma Hayes did it with Chelsea, and it's not that big. I don't think it's that deep personally.
No.
I loved it because it shows that she's still supporting the team.
I just think that it might be quite difficult for that new manager to have that happening. I don't know. I might be reading too much into it. Listen, I liked Carla. We made a scrapbook for her, didn't we? That we presented her with on the last training day. Like, we all put a lot of effort into that, and I really did like her as a person. Personally, I feel that it was time for change. I personally, that's how I feel. I'm not going to deny that. I just felt it was time for change. We now have that change, and
We're still not happy.
No, well, no, I am. No, you know that I actually really believe in Robert, and you know, I'm a champion for him. I really do think that you know, it's just going to take a little bit more time, and hopefully we are, you know, on that turning point, and that, you know, from now on it's just going to get better and better. Things are only going to get better, hopefully. Yeah, so, you know, my question about that, I just, you know, I've heard a couple of people say that they don't think that was helpful. It was also the game where certain fan members were shouting and chanting, "We bring back Carla, we want Carla back." And that was obviously, well, in a lot of people's opinion, was because she was there and that she could probably hear it, which I don't think is very healthy.
It just wasn't appropriate, was it? Because Robert was right there doing his interview.
It wasn't appropriate. Yeah, it wasn't appropriate. And something was said last game as well. Something similar was said on Sunday. I could hear. We heard a couple of people heard it. But yeah, but that particular day, it was very loud, and it was over and over again. And I think it was a little bit of showing off because Carla was there. And that's why my question is, do you think it was appropriate that she was there? Because I just think it might have been a bit uncomfortable for Robert.
And I think it puts Carla in a weird situation as well, though, because she's just there watching the match. I think she was with her daughter. Like, she was just there to see the match. And, you know, she might have been invited there. So, yeah, it kind of puts her in a strange situation as well, because you don't want there to be any bad blood between, well,
exactly.
Anybody. But
exactly, yeah.
From a professional perspective, she probably shouldn't have been there. But from a feeling
just put there,
that, like personally, I will admit I've got like emotional biases towards Carla. So I would like, my first instinct is to defend that situation, but I know everything that Tracy said is true and accurate and is the actual correct response without feelings involved.
No, and that's the thing. I think we're all so kind of close, and as a fan, you are genuinely very emotionally invested, aren't you? So I think it's hard to then maybe sometimes take a step back and look at it from all perspectives. But yeah, it was just I mean, personally, I don't think we should have issues with it, but yeah, it kind of it blurs that boundary, doesn't it? And then the lines get a bit strange, and then it just makes it.
I found that the quote you said before the game, which was,
well done. Yes.
He wants the players to act as a team and not individuals when dealing with setbacks or disappointments. And I thought that he sort of circled back to that in his own post-match press conference, saying that Ebony's been patient and been a squad player and all of this. I don't know. I just thought that was.
I think we have a lot of players with quite a lot of personality on the team, and sometimes that can be really great, and sometimes maybe not so great.
Yeah.
I personally also think, though, that shouldn't be a thing that you're maybe coming out and saying to just the general media, like pre-match. I don't understand how that helps in the build-up to a match. How that helps anyone? That should be an internal thing.
Yeah.
No, because I suppose if you're then the opposition and you're like, "Oh, there's cracks in there. Let's exploit those."
But I think there's a lot. Anybody that has played around these players knows that they can exploit those gaps, those cracks. Like, I've heard ex-players talk before about players in the Villa dressing room that have got big egos and big personalities and maybe aren't great squad players. Like, from a professional having played with them before and knowing what they're like in a team.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's you don't need to highlight that.
There's
what I mean?
some stuff he just maybe shouldn't say in public. I think we've said that before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like when he said he's sick of waiting for a performance to turn into goals. Like, don't say you're sick of it. Like, could we phrase it slightly better than that? because it a lot of the time it sounds like he is berating his players, which is what most of my issue is with him.
Is that a cultural thing, though? Is that just the fact that possibly that's how they speak? How, you know, that the kind of cultural approach of conversing?
I mean, look at Jill Rod though. Post City match, the post Chelsea City match, Jill Rod was. They were like, "Why didn't you win?" And she was like, "Well, they scored more goals and we didn't. Like they scored goals and we didn't."
Emmys, don't steal that later.
Direct, very direct and very obvious.
But that is very. But like, if you hear, like Viv Miedema speak as well, she's very like, "This is not good enough. This is shit." Like,
yeah, but about herself, not about the rest of the team. Like
everyone
like the team that like from a managerial perspective, you've got Serena who's Dutch, you've got Rob who's Dutch. We can't blame culture because they are two very different people in press conferences.
Yeah.
They're still professionals at the end of the day. I know that I can't go into my place of work with the bluntness that I have outside of work.
I was sure about them in private.
Surprisingly, I can't do that. I have to have boundaries. And again, I'm going back to this employment thing. I'm clearly on some sort of mission tonight to point out that, he's the boss and he needs to be professional. But, I think you can't compare cultures or backgrounds or anything. Ultimately, he has to be professional and he needs to conduct himself in a certain manner. And I think the things that he's said has given a lot of people, a point to question that.
Yeah.
I think maybe, again, coming back to maybe we don't actually know him that well as well. So until we do know him, until we have that relationship, then it feels like, oh, okay, that's a bit.
Yeah,
that's a bit
we've only ever seen negative him, haven't we? We've not really seen. We've not had the opportunity to see what he's like after a really good game.
Yeah.
Because we've not had a really good game. He might surprise us all. He might be the most complimentary person in the world and give credit where credit's due and take.
He was pretty complimentary this week post match. He said the team did really well.
I don't think he said anything. Well, personally, I don't think that he's said anything that's crossed the line of unprofessionalism.
I've definitely heard other managers in the league say far worse things.
Oh gosh, I don't think
he's far less professional things.
He's not been awful, but he's got like this consistent kind of negative. It's not constructive criticism. Let's put it that way. It's criticism.
It's very much he's pointing out what the team still need to do, and that I think for me.
So basically, just keeping it real.
I don't know, but there's certain ways you can do it, isn't there?
I'm sick of this, and I've never had to wait this long, and I'm frustrated. It's very. This team is doing bad things to me, and it's their fault.
I think sometimes that needs to be said, but I think there's ways in which to do it. I think everybody knows what a poop sandwich is.
Yeah.
You start off with the positives, you lay into them in the beginning, and then you finish on another positive. It kind of helps break down that whole negative.
We end on a target, what we can work on. Yes,
exactly. And I think it's that balance, isn't it? I think we mentioned the word. I mentioned the word balance a lot last time, and of how it's delivered. There's just ways, isn't there? That's all.
I agree with Tracy that we're not sat here calling him unprofessional. Well, I'm not anyway.
I used the wrong word as usual.
That
isn't what I was saying.
I think the bluntness is
now. What did we say and what did we not say?
I agree with Tracy that I don't think anything's crossed a line. I just think it's coming across or people are receiving it in different ways. Like we're 7 of us here. So if we're all feeling this different levels of response to how he's saying things, imagine what the team is then feeling. You just extrapolate that to the squad, and there must be the same level of different responses to how his style.
I think it doesn't help either that the personalities and the type of management are poles apart between him and Carla.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They're poles apart, so it's kind of like just going from one extreme to virtually another, and that's just going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time to adjust, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely agree, Tracy. I said them exact words last week.
Yeah.
It's from one extreme to the other, and I think that's what's given a bit more.
Yeah.
I think it's also fans adjusting as well. Like, going from one.
I mean, it's gone from Carla being like deep down knowing that the performance probably was the player's fault, but she was like, "Do you know what? That's on me. That's my fault." Whereas Robs makes very interesting decisions and then blames the players.
I think
last season it used to really frustrate me listening to Carla in post-match interviews that it was, and she'd give her a statement and she'd give her a post-match interview, and it was like, have I just watched a different game? Have I just watched a completely different game? And I think that's, it's like you said, it's different personalities and what different people appreciate. I appreciate his honesty, because when I hear him in a post-match interview, that's what I've seen. And although it's not, he's not being very British and kind of like not being totally, honest in
self-deprecating.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a shock, isn't it, to the system, I suppose, for a lot of people, that it is completely opposite to what we're used to. Personally, on a personal level, I much prefer this honesty, even if it is quite shocking sometimes.
It's like we said earlier, like a lot of the players came specifically because Carla was our manager.
Yeah.
And they like that arm around the shoulders approach to management and getting feedback when something they're doing is right, when something they're doing is wrong, which maybe isn't as forthcoming under.
But we are also not involved in any of the conversations between the players and the staff. We don't know what those conversations are like between Robert and the players. Or between Carla and the players.
Exactly. We're just speculating, aren't we?
Yeah.
Based on
we know no secrets. Yes.
What, 10 minutes of press conference every week?
We need
shove
more.
In the back. There's been a playful shove in the back.
We don't get much interaction between the players and Robert. Like, he's not in training pictures. He's not in the funny little quirky videos.
You might not like his picture taken, Nick.
I wonder if he just doesn't attend training.
I was going to say, though, that could be a way of not addressing it, because it's not necessarily a problem that needs to be addressed, but by going back to the social media side of things, there's not very much that comes out from our team. Because you look at other teams, like Chelsea do things like almost weekly, don't they, with like 2 players on sort of a podcast thing.
Chelsea's podcast really good. So if anyone from Villa is watching right now, we would love to do that for Villa, so we can.
If they could open it up more, and then I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Because Gary's put there, photos of the players smiling. There's no malice, and they look like they're having a whale of a time. I mean, they finally did that video, didn't they, Sophie, the other day of Paolo Tomas doing the finish the English races, which Paola.
I really think that Villa their social media could be a lot better.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah,
better than it was last year, though. To be fair, but there's still a lot of room for improvement.
They should just give us a login and we'll crack on.
Yeah, if I saw the human side of Robert on social media, I might not have this opinion of him. And there's all these opinions going around on social media, like, all he does is scream at the players, like he stands there with his hands in his pockets, because this is the only thing we see of him. We only see his press conferences. We only see the Robert on the sidelines that does stand with his hands in his pocket, swearing and getting annoyed. Like, we don't see a human. We just see this strange man that's just kind of come in and made odd decisions, and everyone's just a bit like...
Well, even like Lionesses, they do like inside training, don't they?
Yeah.
There's like little clips, little highlight montage of what's gone on during the week.
Chelsea do.
Yeah. Everton do on a Thursday, on with us.
In that interview they did with Lucy Staniforth before the match, there was some footage from training in that, so it's clearly out there somewhere.
Someone's recording it. They're just
Yeah,
not doing
but
it.
he's not in it. That's my point. This is I actually just started to like. I was generally scrolling through their Instagram the other day, thinking to myself, "Are they only happy because he's not there?" Like that's what it come across to as me. It's just like he's not in those pictures. I was just like, does he attend training?
But also, one of the things that Carla said, the reason she left, and one of the reasons if she came back to coaching, she wouldn't be doing. She was doing the head coach and the manager job.
Yeah,
and actually, is it that he's actually got the support so that he doesn't have to be there for every single training session?
Well, he's just got a new assistant manager, hasn't he?
Because he trusts his manager, like assistants, to feed him back the information that he needs. Like, whereas Carla was like, I'm trying to do 3 or 4 jobs at once, and I need that support. Like,
we saw it for the first time this match, where he did a bit of a Gareth Taylor and disappeared up into the stands at the start of each half. But we were saying, like, it wasn't obvious who he was which of the assistant coaches he was talking to, because it didn't look like any of them had. There was definitely no walkie-talkies.
I was going to say, were any of them into the walkie-talkie?
But yeah, he's obviously like gone up to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Which is an interesting one. Yeah,
I'll also say on like match day behavior versus in training, like I'm doing a lot from a personal perspective today. Sorry, guys, but like our coach on a Sunday when we're playing really badly and we're not implementing the stuff that we've been doing in training, and she's getting super annoyed at us because we're not doing what we've been doing in training, and like we only see Robert on the touchline when we're not playing that great.
Yeah. So I mean, we've not seen positive Rob yet.
Yeah.
I could be a completely different person in a few weeks' time if it changes. I could be like, do you know what? I love him. He's such a lovely man.
Hey, watch this space. Can't wait. Watch it. That could be our Christmas gift. Nick's just completely like, can we add for Cocoon?
How boring would the pod be though? For all just like, yeah, that was great. Great decision, Rob. Okay, what do we talk about?
We won 5-0. Bye.
It's a 10-minute update. Oh, it was all great. Yeah, done. No, absolutely. And then it wouldn't be Villa, would it, if it was all plain sailing?
No.
Where's the fun in that? Now, I love that Tracy said earlier, we're at 43 minutes, nearly at half time. I haven't even talked about the second goal yet. We'll get there. I'll try and wrap it up. Before Rachel got her goal, it was like, right, we're going to go into half time with 1-1. It's going to be fine. But then it was just quintessential Rachel Daly. If you just imagine what Rachel Daly, how she plays, who she is, it was just the shot into a knee slide. That was just like her all over, wasn't it? And you could see the relief on her face and the passion. And there's that fantastic picture, isn't there, where she's just like, yeah, I've got it. I've done it. And honestly, going in, especially with 7 minutes of added time in that first half as well, because of all the injuries, was just mad. So that feeling of going in leading after going in from behind, kind of, Emma, what did that do to the feeling of the game, do you think, from a Villa perspective?
Well, positive. I remember going like into half time. I went to get a drink and I went to actually leading for the first time this season, which was an incorrect statement because led for City. We went into the second half leading for City anyway. It definitely made it so much more positive after, because when we conceded, we were, we're gonna do that again. It's same old Villa here, but okay, we're actually in it still. Like we actually could get the 3 points, our first 3 points. So it was really exciting. From a fan perspective, I was really excited.
I think
yeah. Go on, Emily.
I'm just generally super pessimistic when I'm watching. I think in person, because when the board went up with 7 minutes, I was just like, please don't go in down. That was my that's what I thought was more likely to happen, just because it usually does. Do you know what I mean? It felt like
it's what we're used to, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, please, can we just hang on until half time?
Emily,
it was
was
just-
it concentrate that you?
I've no idea the stuff I yell.
I have every idea. I'm right bloody in front of you.
But yeah, it was so refreshing, because even after Rach had scored that, we had another chance not long after where she sort of was in again. And it was just, it was a really refreshing turnaround of, watching us play well.
And that was her 50th goal, wasn't it, for Villa? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if my maths was wrong, but I made that her 50th league game as well. Might be wrong though.
Oh.
There we go. Now, hey, stats coming from all over the place. We love it. So we'll get into the second half now. So after playing 53 minutes, we had a short break. And the second half, again, opening moments, nearly got a third, didn't we? And you just thought, okay, there's clearly another goal in this. When's it going to come? You know, are we going to get more than one? What's going to happen next? But only again, Yanez just had to make a save, didn't she? But Palace, it never felt like they were out of the game. And I think that's been one of their strengths coming up. As a championship side, we see so many teams just yo-yo up and down, don't we? But it feels like they've got like a conviction about them. And Laura Kaminsky's like very sure of a team, and like they seem like a real unit. And just the way they play,
it feels like they've got the potential to stay up. And there's a couple of other teams down the bottom that I'm more worried about than them. Villa isn't one of them. Like, I have a feeling we will stay up. Like,
I don't know what to think about if we go down. But no, you're right. No, I don't have this doom and gloom feeling about Villa, but I do have it maybe. I think West Ham are going to struggle. We've seen Everton. I hope Everton don't go down, because I just want to give Brian Sorensen a big hug. That's all I want, because he just needs it.
Saw a statistic that Everton have only scored 3 goals this season.
I do worry if
and one of them was a penalty.
That's not good.
That shouldn't have been a penalty, but that's fine.
Oh God,
They'll take it. They'll take it. Now, unfortunately, again, just coming back to Gabby Nunes slightly. This was when she had the open goal, when Yanez clattered Daly. They both went down, and again, just didn't plant her feet and skied it. And you just thought, again, oh, is this going to be our look? So yeah, she can get that right. That would be fantastic. Now, talked about Katie Stengel and Annabelle Blanchard, how fantastic they were.
Did we talk about Annabelle Blanchard really wanting Chastity Grant's shirt?
God, yeah.
Yes, hey, that's one of my notes. Hang on. So possible penalty shout, wasn't there? So in fact, there could have been 2, because we said about Rach being clattered. That could have been 1. But with Chastity's shirt as well. So Sophie, if anyone missed it, what happened? Why did we think it could have been a penalty shout?
So I'm gonna contradict you, Freya, and having watched it, I don't think there's a shout for a penalty. It was way outside the box.
Off the pod.
Yeah.
Remove yourself.
I do think Becky's right. It should have been booked.
Yeah.
Because it was a clear pulling back on the shirt, and I can see kind of why the ref maybe wanted to play advantage on letting the play continue rather than pulling it back and giving a free kick.
I can see that, but it should have been pulled back.
I'm thinking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Are we may be on 2 different incidents?
There was 2, wasn't there? Because you had like a little shirt pull, I think once.
Little shirt pull.
They did
the biggest
the whole
shirt
game they were holding her.
right. I think one was in the box.
One was.
There was
But
one
the
right.
second one.
One went from
Right in front of the
The
line.
second one went on for quite a while.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm on about the second one that went from like the halfway line
Yeah.
up to like
All the way
outside.
along. Yeah, that should have been brought up, because you can even see it, Blanchard been like, are we stopping? Is she going to blow for the foul? No, okay, I'll carry on.
Yeah.
And you just kept going, and you were like, you can't do that.
That should have absolutely been a card, like a yellow
and
and a free kick. And
if it
No,
had
and I
been in
can
the
see
box,
playing-
it would have been a red,
yeah,
because it was a goal scoring opportunity.
but yeah,
If you analysed it over and over again and you saw the lack of defenders and the journey into the box and the shots you had, if that did, I can't remember if it was in the box or not. From the sidelines, it looked like it was in the box. That was impeding a goal scoring opportunity, and it is a straight red card.
Yeah.
If it had gone in the box.
Yeah. And I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, I can see why the ref would want to play advantage. Chastity Grant seems very good at getting out of physical situations.
She was phenomenal, shrugging off every single person who tried to take her on. Just like, nope, not today. I'm getting through.
And then it did get pulled back to give a talking to, but it was just a talking to.
Yeah. It's just a talking to. Yeah, good. I thought overall, though, the ref was letting a lot go. Like, there was more flow to the game than we've seen for a while. And yeah, no, it was good. I think so.
Do you think that other one could have been a penalty shout, though? Chastity was like right, only probably about a yard in front of the goal.
Yes.
And the defender tugged her shirt backwards.
Yeah.
I don't think the commentator on the YouTube stream didn't even notice that it had happened.
No.
But from the angle we were sat at, you could clearly, she had her arm out and shoved all the shirt back.
No, she did. Because even Chastity, like, she looks round, doesn't she? Like, come on, like, what's going on? But yeah, it wasn't mentioned, wasn't pulled back.
There was quite a lot of clatterings that were just left.
There were, weren't there? And of course, was it Amy Everett who had to get her head bandaged?
Yeah.
Little bump.
But it was just Paula that got the kid together, and it just went, yeah, I'm fine. And then the medics
went up to her and was trying to look at her head, and Paula was like, get off
me. Fine.
Paula is fine. That is what was established.
And then our medics had to stay on to help the Palace medics. It's like, oh, a little bonding moment. That's quite nice. Help each other out. But yeah, I just love that Paula just shrugged it off. Just made of the same stuff as Kirsty. Just keeps getting clattered, but keeps getting right back up again.
She's made of sponge. That's why she's so wet. That's why Paula Thompson made of sponge.
Should absorb all she could have.
That actually makes a lot of sense, yeah.
It peels the skin off, and it's actually SpongeBob SquarePants we've got playing.
I love her so much, though. Like,
I adore her. She's the happiest person on earth.
Yeah, I love her.
I kind of wish I had a number so I could ring her when I was sad, just because she
you wouldn't understand what you were saying.
And then it'd be great. Imagine if we got her on the pod, though, and tried to do an interview with her. We'd just be laughing the whole time. Just, there'd be no questions. There'd be no words. Just Now, unlike Paula, there was a bit of a lull between the 60th and 70th minutes. Game went a bit flat. And we thought, are we just shooting for the sake of it now? There was a lot of shots without any real power, any precision. And you just thought, are they doing it kind of for the sake of it without really thinking it through? And then we'll get to the subs, shall we? Got to about the 74th minute. Ashley Weirden came on for Palace, who, if anyone else has been watching Palace's game, she's been causing a lot of trouble. And especially in this match, because she got the assist. Annoyingly, a really, really good cross as well. And Blanchard manages to connect with it in ripples at the back
she
of
was
the
so
net.
fast.
Blanchard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Weirden as well. Yeah. Both of them. But again, an incredible bit of play. So it shows that Palace are very much capable of doing it. So we're at 2-2. And then a couple of minutes later, we've got Robinson and Salmon came on for Chastity and Gabby. So that was in the 79th minute. So initially those two, how did we feel about Katie Robinson initially? We'll talk about the triple in a minute. How did we feel about Kate Robinson coming on maybe ahead of Dree instead of Chastity? Emily, any thoughts on that one? She's like, I shall not speak on this.
I mean, I'm firmly in the Dree should start the games camp. So
yeah, me too.
I was a bit confused why Dree wasn't included in the first round of subs rather than the second. Because there was we thought she wasn't going to play at all, didn't we, Nick? Like,
yeah, she was literally sat in a jogging bottom chewing gum.
She had about 3 coats on.
She was just
the skill it took for her to get her hood perfectly round her face was phenomenal. I don't think there's any footage of that, but Emily, I think you've probably got a video somewhere.
But
the hood just perfectly. I was like, oh, that's skill.
Like even the first set of subs took forever to come on. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe the whole thing got knocked out of kilter a little bit because of how long it took the first lot to come on.
Yeah, so the triple substitute we're talking about, just in case anyone missed it. So we always joke about kind of 61st minute, the same subs come on. But this was in the 87th minute. Now, they were waiting for quite a while. It was, 5 minutes, maybe?
5-ish minutes, yeah.
Yeah, felt like about an hour. But then you think about, well, they were warming up. Now they've stood in the freezing court. Like all of these factors, isn't it? Waiting for a pause and play to come on. So 87th minute. So that was Dree Kenza and Mr. Gore came on for Jordan Obbs, Kirsty Hansen, and Rachel Daly, which was the big one. Nick, how do you feel about Rach in particular coming off, especially when they had just conceded? Was that a good time to take your captain off?
I think that was possibly the stupidest substitution decision I've ever seen in the history of football.
I'll say what you really think. Go on.
Level in a must-win game, you do not take your only remaining. I know Salmon is a forward, but Rachel is a striker. You do not take your captain and your striker off.
She told RDP this because I was sat behind her. And it was very entertaining watching Nick when this substitution occurred.
Don't.
What are you doing? Are you stupid?
I don't think stupid was the word I used. But
it was funny.
I'm still flabbergasted that he made that call. He's a lucky boy because of that Salmon. Like, he's a lucky boy. She is a cup striker in the nicest possible way. She thrives in cup matches. That's not an insult. That's what she thrives at. She gives us goals in the cup. She gave us loads in the Conti Cup last year. She's a cup striker. Mm-hmm. Do not leave a cup striker on as the only source of goal scoring when you are level.
I don't think you can just classify her as a cup striker. No, you can't say that. That's
no, but I get what Nick means. Like, if you look at
striker in the cup,
she's hardly played any minutes in the league so far. Yeah. And then, but I get what you're saying. But that you're leaving that as your sole focal point on when we need the win.
You're setting yourself up to fail. I know you didn't.
It's definitely not. It's not an insult.
Yeah.
She is the striker that is chosen for cup matches, is what I mean, and she is.
I also like he did in the Spurs match. I know there's not a direct correlation between the two, but we took Rach off, and then Bethany England gets that late equaliser, and I thought I could see it happening again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if you're 3-4 up, then fine, take her off, manage minutes, give someone a chance.
I was really curious to know if it was like a pre-planned thing, and there was just no flexibility in that. Like, even though we'd just conceded, you're like, this is what the plan was, so we're going to stick to it. I know it panned out.
Changed or anything, because sometimes when you got subs ready come on, something happens on the pitch, them subs more often than not get changed or delayed or whatever. And like you say, Emily, there was no sort of budging with that. I'm still making these 3 subs. I'm still going after the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it was like the 86th minute Palace scored, 87th minute the subs come on, and it's just it was very strange to me.
And I think there's a point though, once you've already submitted the substitutions that you want to make, that you then can't change them. Like if you've submitted it to the 4th official already.
I don't think he had, because I don't know if you were there, but like there was 2 standing with him, and then he was like, Dree, like quick.
Yeah.
So decision, like that wasn't planned. I don't think it was going to be a triple. I think it was going to be a double, because she hadn't warmed up. She was sat like in her joggers and a coat, like it was literally like, get your ass on the pitch now. So
it was quite an abrupt out, wasn't it? Yeah, and she quickly had to do like a bit of a warm up and then get ready. Yeah.
I think
it's
the fact
worth
that we
pointing out.
subbed Rachel off for Kenza proves our point that he is forcing Rachel into a number 10.
Yeah, but Kenza still didn't go into the number 10
No,
role.
she
She's on the
went
wing,
to the wing
which
and then
was random.
And
She's
they were sort of playing two up top. Yeah.
and still didn't. He puts Kenza on finally, and still not in a number 10 role.
No.
What do we make of Maz being on the bench and still not being played?
I think Paula's better than her. And I think Paula should be starting above her.
I was pleased to see her back on the bench, like in the matchday squad,
Yes,
because I was worried that we weren't going to.
yeah, I mean, at least he was a named substitute this time. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see her start.
I'd like to see her get minutes, but I think she should be a sub when Paola's legs get tired. But I do think that substitution should be made.
Agreed.
We're not making defensive substitutions at any point. We're making substitutions in the midfield every single time.
But then that's also like just a general, like a lot of teams won't make defensive substitutions because they mess up the flow at the back too much.
Not centre backs, wing backs. You can.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, because I think even just to save Paula, last 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Like Maz does a decent job, doesn't she? We know she can. And from what we know she can do, she's more than capable of being that impact sub and keeping that pace.
No,
so
similar kind of player as well. Like
Paula Thomas weighs 9 stone because she's like 9 extra stone because she's soaking wet.
That's why when she passes into people, she's fine.
Can I ask a question on the Maz thing? If Maz was being substituted in for that 10, 15 minutes at the end of the games, do you think that's enough to keep her? Well, would she be happy with that?
That's it.
I think she's a team player.
But would she get other minutes somewhere else?
The thing is, though, we've got so much more depth this season. We've got only 11 places, and we've just got such
I know.
Yeah. We need
more quality in the team.
We need to be clever about the fact that we finally got a bench.
Yes.
We need to play them because otherwise next season we won't have a bench again because we'll lose players.
Yeah. How many contracts are up next season?
When you've got enough players to make substitutions, if we don't make the substitutions, they're not going to stay with us. So next season we'll go back to using academy players on the bench again because no one wants to play.
You need a squad to be competitive. And to keep a squad, you've got to play in minutes, whether it's a token 10 minutes or cup games or whatever you do. It'll be interesting for the lineup on Saturday to see if some of the Maz, Salmon, get into the squad. John's just put a very valid question.
That was going to be my next one, So John's just said, is Maritz out of favour now? And we all kind of said initially, maybe she's just resting after the international break. She's obviously being called up for Switzerland again, so it's clearly not an injury. Has anyone got any strong opinions on that? Why maybe we aren't seeing Noelle as much as we might normally have? Has Sarah just really upped herself in training and she's better?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Noelle did come back from the last camp with a slight niggle or something, which led to Sarah starting. And now I think Sarah's played so well that she's claimed that starting spot.
It would have been harsh to drop her.
Yeah, because she's been really
been a reason to drop her. She's put in such good performances. And I think it is actually good that we've got 2 players that we can switch in and out. And also, it feels like we've only just come back from international break and we're off again on international break. There's been like two games.
Just
two
league games and a cup game, and then we're back on international break.
Sounds right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, because they said on whatever commentary I was watching, they were like, "Yep, so we'll be back after the international break," and I was kind of like, "Hey," forgetting that we had a league cup game, and then suddenly I was like, "Oh wait," so and then they were talking about Arsenal, which in my head is ages away, but it's not. It's a couple of weeks, but that's our next league game.
I looked up, Becky. I think there's 13 contracts up in the summer.
So that's our depth and squad gone if we don't.
But I also think will Robert DePauw bring in players that he wants? Start bringing in the players that he wants in the window as well.
Yeah, I wonder how many will be offered renewal.
How much of a budget have we got left after Gabby?
Probably 50p.
Well, hey, we've got pockets now apparently. that. There's money.
Well, let's be honest, that was for the sale of Lehman. We would have got.
And Daphne as well.
Yeah.
And Laura Blinkilda Brown.
Yeah, that was 200k, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to lose people on frees.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Which is we're not going to have a massive budget. If those people go on a free, then I don't even want to think about it. And as for him bringing in people that he wants, that's not worked for him so far this season, has it? Like the players he has brought in that he's prioritised over stronger players has put us in the position that we're in.
Have we got any updates on Jill?
She's
Close to the grass, wasn't she?
See, that's another worry. Who's she going to take out?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You know, will she? I mean, she shouldn't come into the starting 11 in the best possible sense.
Yeah,
But
but yeah, I don't.
I definitely don't think we should see her starting before the new year.
No.
Unless she has Sabsy's place, then you know.
We're looking on the goalkeeper front again. I will say that.
I know. Yeah, Annalie.
Sophia Paul, because I've not heard anything, or was she just unavailable?
There was nothing. Was there?
Available.
I didn't even.
She was there.
I thought it was just a spelling mistake. I didn't actually read the name.
Like, who's this?
And then Sabs came out obviously for warm up with Sophia Kelly, and I was like, "Hang on,
Oh,
what's going on?"
Am I right in thinking Lee had a concussion?
She had a
yeah.
And they can be,
I think it was a pretty bad one.
yeah. They can be really like weird to come back from as well.
Do you reckon he might look to get someone in the January window, or do we think she'll be all right coming back?
Depends on what's up with Sophia Paul. Like, if that's a minor niggle and she's back this week, then
It's a great word, that.
little niggle.
Yeah, no, you're right. But again, January window, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
We do. We're going to get Chloe Kelly.
I wish.
Could you imagine?
We do not need
Another winger.
She wouldn't play her anyway. It'd still play Grant.
I really like Grant. Like, I actually really like Grant as a player. Like, I think she's really strong.
Oh, she is 100%. No, she's doing well. Could you imagine if Chloe Kelly does come though, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll give you like 10 minutes. All my other wingers are coming on first, and then we'll get to you."
But we've got so many wingers. Why have we got so many? We've got so many forwards.
This
so
was
many
my
wingers.
concern. Like right before the season even started. Like
Yeah, we all
so
said
many
it,
wide players.
and that's why we've got gaps in midfield. We've got anyone there. That's what's going on. Now, so we were talking about that triple substitution. So, so they came on in the, what did I say?
87?
Yeah.
Who's
87th minute.
87th, because Palace got the equaliser in the 86th. Yes, good. So Blanchard just got the wrong side of Turner, completely unmarked again. Again, a bit of a switch off of Villa. And then we made that triple substitution. So again, it was 2-2. It got to the point where we're thinking, right, we've got 4 minutes left of normal time-ish. And then, of course, we had, how many extra minutes did we have? 4 extra minutes, wasn't it, right at the end? Now, the pitch at this point was getting incredibly slippy. People were sliding all over the place. Again, no one picked it up on commentary. Now, did anyone actually think we were going to get the winner?
No.
Or did we all think, okay, just write it out? Emma's like, no. I did not think I would.
It was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I think as well, like so many games recently, we've been gunning for it towards the end of the match, and nothing's paid off as well. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I even put in my notes, lovely footwork for the goal. And we've talked about what DePlow said in his post-match. But just imagine if that was the magic footwork we were seeing from Gabby as well. Like if we could just kind of merge them together, you know, we'd have 2 fantastic, again, attacking options, wouldn't we? So that could be the dream. So yeah, when that final whistle went and everyone kind of stormed the pitch, because Emily, you thought Rachel just ran on, didn't you?
I didn't realise the final whistle.
I didn't. I know. I did. I know. She's going to go past.
I was like, oh, what is she doing? That's why I was just yelling Sabs constantly, because I thought the game was still going.
Concentrate.
I have a point to make on this, on the goal. Lovely pass through from Paula Tomas.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned
But
that.
the BBC's official match report says that she picked up a loose ball on the edge of the box.
No, she took out two.
That's a bit rude, isn't it?
I know, like, and I'm sure Tomas got the assist, and I'm annoyed that I forgot to put her back in my fantasy league. I was like, I'm leaving her out. She gets too many cards, and then she went and got an assist.
Sky Sports gave her the assist.
Yeah,
Google gave the assist as well.
yeah. It was.
It was her
Paula
assist, 100%, yeah.
It was an assist, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, BBC, tell you.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to get out. I saw someone make the comment about it on social media, and I was like, I'm gonna have to bring this up in the group chat and be like. And then I was like, I'm gonna have to double check it does actually say this, because I saw like the quote of it. But I was like, it wasn't a loose ball. It was a lovely pass.
It was
I don't know how they were monitoring it, because the only media, like press that were there, were me and two girls from University of Birmingham. There were no other journalists there.
I'm assuming they do it remotely.
Not all of Goodison.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so I'm assuming remotely again on that live feed. Maybe some things get missed, things like that. So that'd be good to know really how they get.
I would really like about 3 more camera angles of matches.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I find that the camera tends to focus on like a small section of the action, and I like being able to see what else is going on around.
And
Was
the
it-
empty
Just
side.
you can choose your camera. Like
Yeah.
like on Big Brother years ago, when these were like 5 live streams, you can watch like different rooms in the house. And what's
I'd
going
like to be able to watch it back from about 3 different angles. It's like, do you remember the Arsenal Villa game at the end of the 22-23 season?
Is this 2 years ago?
No, I don't know.
It is.
Away, the last game of the season.
When
At
Villa
Boreham
beat Arsenal at Boreham Wood, and Maritz and Hansen got into a little kerfuffle on the pitch. Yeah, I went to watch it back, and the cameras did not pick any of it up whatsoever. Like, it was just out of the camera shot, and I was like, oh, because it was a proper like scrap that they got into. Like,
The moment's gone forever, but don't worry, we'll keep talking about it. Well, we'll make it live on. Now, so finally then, we won the match 3-2, phenomenal. And it just shows you those 3 points. We jumped to 8th in the table from last. We are on the same points as Everton, so we've got 6. And Leicester, West Ham, and Crystal Palace all have 5. Now, to put it into perspective, there are only 4 points between 6th and 12th. Okay, only 4. So literally every point is going to count. It feels like the championship. It's great. Sunderland won and jumped like 6 places. It was fantastic. So that brings us to the end of the match. So what we're going to do, we're going to hand over to Emma for Commentary Corner. And then if anyone's got any other points that we haven't mentioned yet, and you want to get in before we go, then you can have a think while we're waiting. So Emma, we're going to... Wait. Where's it? There we go. Ta-da. However, where's the rest of us?
We've not got a jingle for this yet, Freya. We've not got a jingle. I feel like we need a jingle.
I'll get you into the recording booth, Tracy, and
We'll record one.
You can sing us one, and I'll get it sorted for you, if that's okay. But I didn't sing Blind Date this time, so I'm getting better. So yes, Emma, take it away whenever you are ready. Have you got some crackers for us?
I do have a few. So I've got 2 from the first match. I think. Did I that?
We did, yeah.
we did.
We did. It was a North London derby, yes.
I've got 2 from that. Our new favourite Arsenal player, Alessio, that came from Steph Horton. But
yeah. You sure it's not just a vowel sounds? Because I talk a bit strange sometimes.
No, definitely a no. And then 10 seconds into the second half, we've got Spurs with all the early pressure.
It was early pressure.
Really wanted it.
Hey, for those 10 seconds, they were great. Okay.
Yeah. And then they lost, so never mind.
I love it.
These are all a bit, they're not there. So this one was to do with the shirt change from the head injury. I saw the captain's armband come off and wondered what was going to happen. It looks like a shirt change. She'd already taken her shirt off. So what was she? No. Anyhow.
That one did make us laugh because it was so like, oh, the captain's armband's coming off. What's going to happen? It's like, she's been in a sports bra for a good half of the jog of the pitch. Like, it wasn't a quick thing, but yeah, that did make me laugh. Thank you.
Instead of former Arsenal defender Anna Patton, we had former Liverpool striker Katie Stengel. When are we going to stop talking about players from their former club? Because, yeah.
How would we know who they are?
Why don't we just get some knowledge on who they play for now?
Call her a Crystal Palace striker.
Exactly.
India Paige Riley has changed her name to Indy Riley, apparently.
I heard that and I was confused if that was a thing or not.
Yeah, because you wonder sometimes if there's that difference between like players who've got nicknames or they prefer to be called, and it's that blur. Like we keep saying Dree instead of Leon. Like it's that mix of what do we, when do we call them what? Because again, on the Villa interviews, they always kept like, yeah, so Lucy Stan. It's like it's a professional video. Which makes me laugh. But yeah, so that could have been maybe she doesn't get India Page, maybe she just gets Indy. So yeah, it was a strange one. I agree with you there.
This came from hang on, there's 2 more. 3 more even. So this came from Emily and Commentary Corner, but on YouTube skipped like a whole minute. And
it did, yeah.
To be fair, when I watched it back, but it 43 minutes 20, there was a throw-in off, and then it cut to 44 minutes with Sabs making a clearance. So that's just pure Barclays, that is, to be fair.
Don't need that bit in the middle.
How do you miss? Did his camera lose charge? What happened?
He's just live streaming it, honestly.
On Facebook Live, just like from the top.
And there's 2 more. So we've got this one gave me the ick, Crystal Palace, and I went, this is a savvy team. No, what the word choice wasn't, just choose. And then this one was his commentary. It's taking a while, which gives us a suggestion. It's taking a while because of the bandaging. Would you want to watch? Simply.
Oh, I love that. It was like when you were at uni and you tried to meet the word count, so you put loads of words in white at the end and then just like blank it out. So
I will say there was there was a beautiful moment right before Ebony Salmon scored the winner where he was like, if either team scores now, it'll be heartbreak for the other team. And as he was saying that, the Paula Tomas assist was coming in.
Boom. Commentator's curse. Oh, thank you for that, Emma. That was phenomenal. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Because I think after the whole Ella Toon comment, I think people have been more on their best behaviour, haven't they, with the marks, which is good. That's what we like. But we'd just like a few funny ones, wouldn't we? Coming in, but we do appreciate it.
Down. None of that.
Like getting the ball to sit down, exactly. Absolutely. Now we're gonna cut. Sophie, did you have any stats that we hadn't mentioned?
Not huge ones, not exciting, not particularly like big ones. Our expected goals is better than it has been for the last. Our XG is better so far this season than the last 2 seasons, I do believe.
Hey.
What is interesting is the season that we had, the first season we had Rachel Daly, our XG was like half the amount of goals we actually scored. Rachel Daly massively overperformed that year, and I think that was kind of like a one-off. I think she came in, overperformed, did amazingly, and then teams kind of figured out how to deal with her a bit more. Because I think in the women's game, there's still not the same coverage or statistical analysis for players outside of the league, like outside of the WSL.
Yeah. No,
I
you're
think
right.
she was just a bit of an unknown, and then her and Kenza's link up. I don't know if we'll ever recreate that. That seemed to be a golden year where everything
that was magic.
All the connections were magical. Like, but yeah, so we've overperformed for goals the last 2 years. So,
well, hey, well done, Villa. We're going in the right direction. Now, what we'll do because we've got a League Cup game on Saturday. So we'll do brief thoughts on that, and then we've got one last thing we want to talk about before we go. We're up against Spurs. Now, we said last season, we were against quite nice, easy teams: Durham, Sunderland, Sheffield, Blackburn, etc. So even if we weren't performing great in the league, we could go into the cup and we could get a good run and get that confidence back. But we're against annoyingly good competition this time. We've changed groups. So Nick, what are your thoughts for Saturday? How are you feeling? Because Spurs also haven't been on great form, but we know how it's been in the past. So yeah, what are you thinking? Perfect. In fact, I'm going to put that up, and that's going to be the reaction.
Someone just let a horse into their living room.
I really, 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 really want to say we'll win it.
I really want you to say Zigga Zagga.
I really, really, really want to Zigga Zagga. But I just, who even knows at this point, like, will he learn from our last match against Spurs and like figure out, don't take Rachel Daly off before betting and stuff like that, or will he just make silly mistakes and cost us a game?
I'm really torn between wanting us to like rotate and give players minutes, even the ones that I don't necessarily think should be, like, I want him to start players that I think deserve to be starting anyway, but also give other players minutes, like fully rotate.
Yeah.
But also I really want us to put out a strong side and like win the game. Do you know? I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah,
I can throw out an absolutely massively positive take on the Spurs game if you wish.
Go on then.
Yes, please.
I can try anyway. So literally, we've been discussing things just recently, and literally every Tom, Dick and Stanley has been asking why it's taken us so long to get our first win. And we've got our first win and we've got that positivity and we get the subs right, honestly, I think we can beat anybody. And I think that's a squad positivity. So regardless of who we put in as a starting lineup, I think that positivity is going to rub off on them. And this is it now, guys. This is our way back up.
I agree.
I do think, like, just going back to the game on Sunday, like all the players at the final whistle were just the relief and like the positivity that they all had. Like they were all sort of cheering back at the crowd and stuff. It was just it was really good to see.
I think this was our first home win in like nearly a full year as well.
Yeah, since the Brighton
If
game.
we could run with that, honestly, I think regardless of the starting lineup, that positivity is what carried us through a couple of games last season with the backing of the fans. I think if we can do that again Saturday, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
I think the win will definitely bring the squad closer together again. Not saying they weren't, but regardless of anything else, like externally, a win will definitely sort of give everyone that.
Boost.
It does feel like there's been a bit of like not football related stuff going on behind the scenes in the squad as well, from like social media and stuff, which can always affect a team. If there's personal issues going on like behind the scenes.
Yeah, and again, it's that adjustment, isn't it? Kind of how do they come together as a team, and how do they work through that? And hopefully they've all got those good relationships that they can talk about it, and like if they need space, if they don't, if they can, what can happen. And at the end of the day, you can all tell that they're going to fight for it. I know Rebecca posted something earlier in the chat. Let me get it. Scroll. She said it feels like they've got more fight and they really wanted to give it everything they had. And again, sometimes it's been, a bit of lack of passion, but you've just felt like something wasn't quite there. Whereas the last couple of games, you felt like they're really giving their everything to try and get this win. On another note, Gary thinks Maz will get minutes in the cup this weekend. I hope she does. I really, really hope she does. Again, even if it's coming on as a sub or if it's starting.
She started the other Crystal Palace game, didn't she, in the cup?
Yes. Yeah. So again, hopefully.
Ebony, I think.
Yeah. And again, we've got, like we said, we've got depth, actually use them, actually rotate them. So we can be a Chelsea and have 2 starting 11s. That'd be quite nice. And whoever we can roll the dice then, and whoever goes on will be able to do the job because they're used to it. So yeah, no, I think it'd be good. Have we all got positive vibes ahead of this weekend then?
Definitely.
Yes.
Lots of nodding heads. That's what we like. Perfect. And yeah, hopefully we get these points to get out of the group stages. Now, we just wanted to finish on a little something because the internet can be a wonderful place. It can also be quite a rubbish place at times as well. And we heard the news, was it yesterday at Brook, that Sam Kerr and Christy Mewis are expecting their first child, which is phenomenal. Huge congratulations to them. However, there's been some less than lovely comments all about it. So, Sophie, I know you wanted to kind of touch upon it, but yeah, how, especially when women's football is such a safe space and such a welcoming space, how did it kind of feel, kind of maybe for you and what you wanted to talk about, that people think it's okay to make a comment like that?
Yeah, it's weird because I think it is a difference between social media and real life. I think women's football, when you go to the games, is pretty open, pretty accepting. Like, there are probably a couple issues here and there, but nothing like the men's game. You're not getting like some of the stuff that's been happening to fans in the men's, like especially female fans in the men's game recently. Like actually going to matches. It seems to be more online that people feel that like claim to be fans of a club and then make pretty horrific comments to the point I think both Chelsea and Sky Sports turned off their comments.
Yeah.
And I think
Emma Sanders did as well.
Yeah. And I think one of the things Emma Sanders called it out and said, I'm turning it off because I don't want to see this, but this is disgusting. You're all like,
Yeah, don't interact with me. Yeah. Stand for it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I really think that clubs need to do more of that. It's off the back of Rainbow Laces weekend that they're all pushing.
Yeah.
And yet, whilst they will be like, oh yeah, this is great. Like I think I saw it earlier this year when Anne-Catherine Berger and Jess Carter got engaged and Chelsea put a post out about that as well.
Yeah.
There were equally some pretty grim comments on that, pretty homophobic comments on that.
So I've missed all of this today. I've not been on social media and seen any of these comments. I'm guessing that these comments are coming from men.
Primarily.
Primarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not exclusively, but majority, yes.
I think sort of the crux is that they're purporting to be fans of the team, and then sort of showing those colours, and you're like, those two things they can't coexist.
And there are people spewing like homophobic comments with very openly gay players as their profile picture, and you're like,
that made us laugh,
like, and it's like, you can't be their fan if you're not supportive of them, like
of them as a person.
And I think for me, it's the fact that the clubs haven't said anything on it. They've turned the comments off, but they've not said,
they haven't called it
we
out.
don't condone this abuse, like, this isn't acceptable, you're not a fan if this is what you believe in. Like,
did you see that the post Luton put up a few weeks ago, calling out the racist chants that are against one of their players?
No.
They put a post up basically like flat out, calling it out and saying, we won't stand for this. That's what the clubs need to do.
Yeah. And I think that's the crux of it is that they're not doing that at the minute.
Yeah. Because you think any other player in a heterosexual relationship, if they announce their pregnancy, the comments will be flooded with congratulations, it's such a wonderful gift, it's this fantastic moment, everyone behind you. And it wouldn't even be anything to do with the club, or it wouldn't be anything to do with them as a player or anything else. It would just be, oh, what a wonderful moment. Now, as a majority queer panel on here tonight, we know how hard it is just to kind of exist in a space sometimes, to feel that it is a safe space, that we can kind of be accepted and just kind of be yourself without having to tread on eggshells and things like that. But it also shows you like there are a lot of people in this world who can't be open because it's either illegal, or for religious reasons it's frowned upon, or cultural reasons it's frowned upon. And you think you've got two women there who are clearly very in love with each other, who have made this commitment, who IVF is expensive, very, very expensive. And at the end of the day, if you're willing to put your body through that mentally and physically, then that shows more than anything that you want that child. And we've seen in this world how a lot of people have them and they're not really bothered. And there's a lot of children that are neglected, aren't looked after, but no one's going after those parents. Is just accepted that that's kind of how this is. So the fact that it's been brought into it that sexuality has any impact on how you can love and support a child is very, very baffling to me. And the fact that, again, like was said, how can you support a club, support a player, but that's only based on if you think you've got a chance with them?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what it boils down to, doesn't it? Because again, Sophie, like you said, with when they've got pictures of players, their profile pictures, and under the Jess Carter and Anne-Catherine Berger engagement photo, they went, oh no, I hope someone else isn't a lesbian. They're the only one left that I fancy. And it's like, so you're not here for the football then, are you? You're not here for the club. You're here for awful reasons.
Does that surprise you though? There's so many out there. There's so many of them out there. That is the really sad thing. Yeah. You know, it kind of like, it makes me wonder. You know, the numbers have gone down for Villa games.
Yeah.
Is that because Alicia's gone?
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How many? Because we know people would make lewd comments and things, and we'd try and stamp that out because that's not what we're there for. But yeah, it makes you think how many people were actually paying attention to Villa because of that.
Yeah,
because we all saw the numbers on social media.
Like the Katie McKay pictures on the corner and things like that. There clearly is fans out there that are going to the games for the wrong reasons. And yeah, the clubs need to call it out. And if there is a separate platform for the men's and the women's teams, then it needs to be broadcast on both platforms. Don't just limit it to the women's ones, because you know, a good chunk of them people already at games and already genuine fans. They are inclusive. They have got the right behaviours that we would want and expect from society. So I think it just needs to be equal on all platforms, and just call it out everywhere. I don't think the clubs do enough for that personally.
100%.
No, definitely.
How many more gay Premier League players would there be open if
Exactly
phobia was actually standing out by clubs?
Yeah,
there are a lot of boxes being ticked like at the weekends. Yeah,
but we need to go through.
Yeah,
but it's a bit like the boxes are being ticked, and
you can't be for 1 month a year, you know.
We're wearing rainbow laces and that. But
take the knee, give out rainbows, wave for flags, and then do nothing about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you get the rainbow laces for free. Our team got sent 15 pairs of them for free for this weekend.
Exactly.
And we play at the lowest tier of women's football. Like,
wow.
So the rainbow laces are given to them. Like,
yeah, it doesn't take much to just come out and say that's wrong. And we're not going to stand for it.
And that's all we're asking for. We're not asking for public stoning or anything outrageous like that, are we?
Not
yet. But you know, just call it out. Say it for what it is. That is absolutely nonsense.
One thing I will say is
move on
as well is that actually I think one of the good things about Villa is we're not attacked. Like, our men's team is currently really successful, but Villa have not historically been like your Chelsea or your Arsenal or your Man City. They're not the big like
one team,
like big massive football team names that have got massive global fan reach. And I think that's with the women's team as well. It doesn't have the same fans of the men that are following the women on social media for the wrong reasons. I don't know how to. I feel like I've not really seen much on Villa's social media, but I've seen it on those bigger clubs that have got bigger engagement, and it seems like more engagement brings more of the negative aspects of football to the women's game.
It's very much like Villa fans are in about a 20-mile radius of Birmingham. Like, it doesn't seem like you couldn't go to like the furthest reach of the earth and see a Villa shirt, essentially, but you probably would see a United shirt or a Chelsea shirt. And again, it's that reach, because some people are trying to defend it by saying, you know, not all fans are in the West. And it's like, but at the end of the day, you can choose whether to make that comment or not. You can choose whether to scroll past or whether to actually make that moment. All right, so a Villa shirt in Thailand. All right. I took mine to Hawaii, but that's a different story.
Was it yours?
No, it wasn't mine.
Can I?
It's there.
On the back of the negative stuff, can I share a fun? I think it's funny. It's more that. So I've got a friend who's not really a women's football fan. Doesn't really. He's not against women's football. If it's on, he'll probably watch it. Like, if I was like, oh, can I put this game on? He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, he's just bought the new FIFA game, and you've got the women's career mode. We were chatting the other day, and he's like, I've got a new favourite player. And I was like, okay, cool. Who? And he was like, oh, yeah, Grace Fisk. And I was like, that's not the name I was expecting, because most people that are very casual women's football, like, know, like, your marquee, like Alessia Russo, Leah Williamson. I was like, okay, Grace Fisk. And he was like, yeah, well, she's on my FIFA game, and she's really good, and I really like her. So, and then he was chatting about Christy Mewis. He's got her in his team as well. So I got a text this morning going, when I was telling you about Christy Mewis the other night, didn't realise she was dating football royalty Sam Kerr. So the baby announcement this morning meant that I got a text from my friend being like, I didn't know this, but this is really cool.
But the fact that, again, having that career mode on a game that predominantly will be a male fan base, they're getting access to that. Yeah. And they're getting to see these players, and they're getting
to see players that aren't getting the social media being pushed to everyone. Like, exactly. I don't think I've ever seen Grace Fisk even do an interview. Like,
no, but yeah, she's not some like you said, she's not a household name, is she? But hey, she's got a new fan. She's got a new fan in your friend from that game. So yes, we kind of just wanted to wrap that up by saying, you know, women's football on the whole is a very safe space. It's very welcoming, and especially this pod. as well. We will welcome everyone.
Unless you're being homophobic or racist or transphobic, and then you can get in the bin.
Yeah, that's my little asterisk at the end. We will welcome you if you are a decent human being. If not, you're absolutely right. As Sophie says, you can get in the bin. We're not having any of it. So we will wrap that up. But before we go, let's have a little look at where you can find us. So, as everyone probably knows by now, but I'll say it again. So Part of the Pride is coming to you in association with the Hull 115 Yards and the Aston Villa Women Fan Club, which we are all a part of. So come like, subscribe, follow, share, do whatever you need to do to make sure you follow all the latest updates. So on TikTok, we are either at the Hull 115 Yards or AVW_fan club. On Instagram, we are Part of the Pride Pod or AVWFC_fan club. I need to add that on there. Or on, I was going to say Twitter, but everyone's moved over to Blue Sky now, haven't they? I'm going to have to set that up. But for the minute, we are at Part Pride Pod. And of course, we are on Facebook. Well, so yes, if you don't already, please do like and subscribe. And our numbers are going up every week, which is phenomenal. And we just can't wait to share our Villa news with everyone who is actually a Villa fan, which is quite nice. So thank you all for joining me. Are we all still okay? Are we all still sane and in one piece?
Can I do one final shout out?
Oh, go on then.
As usual. Sabs made some really good saves again.
She did.
Had a good double save. She had that punch clearance right at the end. It could have been a different scoreline.
That punch was like a victory punch, wasn't it? It was like, just get out of the box. I'm not having it. Game is over. We're done. But yeah, shout out to Sabs, who is phenomenal for us. I'm so glad we brought her in. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. We will leave it there. And we'll see everyone again at the normal time of 8 o'clock next Thursday. So not this one coming, the one after. And we'll be back to normal. So do watch out for any updates, and we'll see you.